when you feel that sensation of fear of judgment, that is such an old sensation. It's just that John Doe whatever with no profile pics is just like scratching an old scab. It's been there for a really long time. It's unhealed. And I asked each person, I said, tune in. And I said, whose voice are you really afraid to hear judging you?
The world has taught us some of the most fundamentally useless ways of thinking about success that actually go against our biology when it comes to achievement and happiness, success and peace. We are taught to push through pain at any cost, to use pressure to persist, focus on the goal, and do whatever it takes to get there. This is useful if the goal is to not starve to death. But success by any means necessary comes at a remarkable cost to our future self. Our mantra around here is not a penny from pressure, only pleasure. The More Alive podcast exists to lead us into a new way of achieving and replace outdated advice that threaten the dream life that actually makes us feel more alive. I'm your host, Andrea Crowder, mom, truth teller, and lover of daydreaming, here to help create a world where we all feel more alive. Welcome to the show.
One of the things that came up at Legend Live for a lot of people was this like fear of judgment from launching things or putting themselves out there on the internet of like, oh, you know, like if these people have this to say or whatever. And when I talked to multiple people in our coaching session, in our group coaching session about this, what I said was, it's you guys are actually not truly afraid of John Doe 4765 with Psalms 316 and no profile picture on the internet putting some kind of like bullshit comment up. And I was like, when you feel that sensation of fear of judgment, that is such an old sensation. It's just that John Doe whatever with no profile pics is just like scratching an old scab. It's been there for a really long time. It's unhealed. And I asked each person, I said, tune in. And I said, whose voice are you really afraid to hear judging you? And it was like my mom, my whole family. Someone started crying and she's just like, literally everyone in my family. And Keith was so proud of me. I'm like, he's like, she's becoming such a nice Jewish girl. And I said, I've been learning so much about like the Jewish traditions, obviously, since I've been dating a Jewish man for over a year now. I've been like spending all of these beautiful holidays with them. We just had Passover. So I was remembering my experience at Passover with everyone, and everyone was passing around like the matza bread, and like we had this beautiful ritual, and we were reading, you know, the story of Passover and remembering and talking specifically. Keith is like teaching me about matza bread, and it's just like they didn't have time. Like they knew that they had to leave and escape the king, so they baked a bunch of bread, but they didn't have time for the yeast to rise, so they had to bake it without the yeast, and that's what became matza bread. And so it's just like this thin cracker if you've never tried it. So I was like, it's kind of like matza bread. Like it's the thing that gets you through 40 years in the desert, helps you survive, but didn't have all the ingredients in order for it to be the thing that like truly nourishes you in the way that you want it to be nourished. And sometimes that's the family that we're given. It's not because they're bad. It's not because they're wrong. It's just because they were given the ingredients that would cause us survival, but not cause us thriving. And we can thank the matza bread for getting us through the desert and for helping us survive without looking at it as like, shame on you for not also having jam and peanut butter and like all the things that might have like improved this experience for me, when like the matza bread is just the matza bread. Like we wouldn't look at it and be like, you're so bad, matza. You weren't enough for me. You disappointed me. Like we would never. We were just like, well, this is just the ingredients that had created this thing. So if we were to look at the world through the lens of a scientist, and we started looking at like, okay, what would be the ingredients? If we have a certain amount of ingredients, it's going to consistently give us the same result. So if we have these family members that are consistently giving us the same result, the only way that we're going to get a different result is if they add a new ingredient or if they take it away. And adding a new ingredient might look like therapy, a big like life change, whatever. But like, we don't know when they're going to get that ingredient or if they're going to get that ingredient. And so let's stop going around and expecting people to have different ingredients than they have. What if we just expected the matza to be the matza? It maybe like doesn't have great flavor, but it was a survival tool. So we can just appreciate it for being that, a survival tool. It got us here. And now we don't need that survival tool anymore. So we can witness and appreciate it for what it is. It can be in our environment. We don't have to try to go there for nourishment. We can just witness it and be like, oh, there's matza bread in the cabinet. That doesn't mean that that's the first thing that we go to or at all for nourishment, but it might be the thing that we needed then to get us to where we are today. But now is the time where we start to look for other places of nourishment, for other ingredients that do give us the thing that we need to sustain our growth. That would be a really impractical way of giving ourselves nourishment by thinking like, these particular ingredients, if I keep eating it over and over and over, maybe it will give me a different result. It won't. If we look at the world scientifically, we often don't. We often look at the world through a lens of meaning of, well, because other moms act that way for their children, mine should too. No, every mom has different ingredients that create the makeup for how her personality presents. And I say that way really intentionally because it's not who she is, right? The soul of who she is like pure and light and beautiful and love. But like the ingredients that create how her personality in this body presents might not reflect her true identity.
If you're a digital course creator, imagine this. Your clients start coming to you and they're like, Andrea, this is the first program that I've ever finished start to finish, and then came back to again and again and again. I know one of the things that we really look forward to is the people who are actually transformed by our work. Not only are they transformed, but then they come back and they're asking for more. One of the tools that we have used that has been so profoundly impactful in creating this type of response and experience for our customers is how we produce our programs through digital audio only. Almost every single one of our programs, aside from maybe the occasional masterclass where I might have a few slides, is digital audio only. And then we offer transcripts for people who want to be able to have something visually that they can look at. But the thing that I know about my customer, and tell me if this is the same for you, is that she's on the go. I used to call it, driving to and from work, drive time academy, where I'm on my way to work, 45 minutes there, 45 minutes home. That means 90 minutes a day I'm learning. I'm understanding the thoughts, the identities, the skills, the patterns, the behaviors of the identity of the person who's already achieved what it is that I want to achieve. And that's the beautiful thing about the coaching industry and what we're able to support people through is like, we've already achieved this identity. We're going to give you our steps and how we did that. And I've found the best way in actually executing, delivering that material is through audio only. So we are obsessed with Hello Audio. People message me all the time. They're like, how do you do this? What's the tool? It's Hello Audio. There's nothing else that you need to know. Here's what we have experienced since we switched is not only do people come and they're like, hey, I've completed this program. How many people like buy a program, they go into Kajabi, they never open it. I have so many programs that I've never actually used because there's this almost like a barrier to entry, which tends to be that password. And so for me, I'm constantly in my podcasts. So I'm like, why wouldn't I put my program where my people already are? So when people are screenshotting the podcast that they're listening to, oftentimes their podcast library is filled with my face, which is becoming almost like free advertising to other people. It has been so impactful in marketing and customer experience. And then people come back and they want more and more and more. So that's why people say like the majority of their feed is filled with my face, because it's so easy for them to consume when they're on the go. And aren't we all on the go? So we have been in diehard devotion to our pretty much audio only, to the point where I even have a private podcast feed that is a subscription, a monthly subscription. I nearly replaced the majority of my private client work with me doing my private subscription with my Legends in the Making offer. So people are paying me to be able to access an additional podcast, so to speak, where people are getting my channeled thoughts and like what it is that I'm thinking and how I'm continuing to build and grow my business on the go as I'm doing it. Hello Audio. The way that I've done all of this is Hello Audio. I've been on their podcast multiple times. I can't stop raving about them. Lindsay, who's one of the founders, is just like a fucking brilliant human. And she, like, the creation of this product, the evolution of this product has only gotten better and better and better. And we're only more aligned and in more complete devotion to continuing to use this product for our customers. We are so obsessed with the overall experience. Our customers message us all the time because they just really enjoy the experience comparatively. You know, that customer guilt where you're like, oh, another program, I didn't use it, I kind of feel bad about it. We just don't get that. People message us and they're like, I did it, I finished it. Not only did they get what they came for in terms of whatever type of knowledge or identity shift that it is that they're looking to achieve, but also the satisfaction of the thing that I set out to do, the thing that I spent my money on, the thing that I invested in, I actually got my money's worth. And they feel really good about that. So I wanted to share that with you guys. And Hello Audio offered me an amazing 2-month, not 2-day free trial, a 2-month free trial just for my audience. I'm telling you guys, I'm their number one power user. And now I kind of feel competitive about it. So just know that you'll never beat me. Last time I checked, I had the most Hello Audio feeds out of all of their customers because I use it for everything. The way that we can just, like all of my client work, my clients have their own custom feeds. Of course, like all of my coursework, any of my like free opt-ins, I've used it for list building when I want to give like a free guided visualization or anything else like that. So you guys, Hello Audio, 2 months for free. Give it a try. Swear to God, you will not regret.
And I bet many of us know, like, I know that there's like this well-meaning, true, like soul inside of like some of these people I love. They just like don't act that way. And many of us wonder why. And it's just like all of the things that like knit this personality together, the ingredients. And sometimes it's just like, damn, how many people are nutrient deficient literally in their bodies? How many people are dehydrated literally in their bodies? And they're just fucking tired all the time. And they like don't have the capacity that we wish they would have. And they also don't have the capacity to change it yet because they're dealing with the same ingredients that they dealt with yesterday. Our job isn't to fix that for them. Our job isn't to go grab an ingredient and try to like stuff it into the matza bread. They have to choose that. It has to be the right thing for them, for their soul. This may be their soul's journey and path that chose this maybe for you. I think about that a lot with my mom. I'm just like, God, I had a really close relationship with my mom growing up. And then my mom became an addict when I became a mother, when I was a late teens, early 20s. She just like crumbled and like trauma just like took my mom and like addiction just started selling all of the areas where she was starving. And that is still who she is. That is still how her personality presents today. And that's hard, but I look at her and I'm like, the ingredients are the ingredients. And I am a well-resourced person where like, I could try to force this. And this was another huge topic from Legend Live is like, it is not our job to fix this for people because it might be someone else's karma to step in and like do that with them. And if we're constantly trying, we might be interrupting the flow of their karma with someone else. And so discernment is so crucial. We can want the best for them. We can love them. We can see them well without interfering. If it's not our place, many of us aren't even asking. is this my place to interfere? Is this my place to add or take away an ingredient? Just because we want it so bad because it's making us feel uncomfortable. Our job is to deal with our discomfort. And that's what we did at Legend Live, was we dealt with our discomfort of how our family members had shown up. We looked to create understanding of how they are dealing with what they're dealing with. Their ingredients are their ingredients. And it's our job to handle how we feel about that. Because the external world can change without our internal world changing. The solution isn't to change the outside so that we can feel better, because that never lasts and we all know it. We all think like, oh, I need to make more money, and then we do make more money, but then the patterns come with us. We take us everywhere. And so if we don't change our relationship with disappointment, I have a great relationship with like witnessing, Keith, when he first met me and he like started to understand my dynamic with my mom, first he was just like, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, I'm okay. Like, I understand how she got here and why it's here. And like, would I love to see her well? I would love it. But does it create pain within me anymore? It honestly doesn't. Because I'm just like, she's here for what she's here for. And it's interesting because for a really long time, I did try to save her. I was the girl where like, I had to do my own work. And somebody asked me a few years ago, and they're like, Andrea, it looks like your whole life is filled with like trying to save people. I tried to save my ex-husband. I tried to save people who were dealing with financial issues when I was a network marketer. And I'm like, just get on my back. I'll carry you. I'll do it for you. And finally I realized I'm like, I'm really fucking with people's karma. I am the problem. I'm interrupting them. I have to be willing to sit in my discomfort of their discomfort. That's my job. I need to deal with like what makes it feel so achy for me. And the truth is I realized all along I wasn't trying to save them. I was trying to save my mom. It had always been like I was just trying to save her. I watched her go through so much since I was a really little girl. I've been trying to save her my whole life. And once I surrendered her saving to the divine, I got my life back. And I know, like, this part like makes me want to cry, like, because I know my mom's like deep love for us. Like, she loves us so much. And I know the truth of who she is that she would never want us to sacrifice our lives trying to save her. She would hate that. She would never ask for that. And yet we were doing it anyway because we weren't using discernment. We weren't asking, is this even my place? And if it's not, then what do I need to do to resolve my discomfort within me? And part of that is looking at people and understanding the ingredients in which make up the personality and the body that they are inhabiting right now are just what they have until something different occurs. And we know that might be like, some people have near-death experiences and everything changed, right? Like a massive ingredient was changed by like presenting hardcore mortality in their face, or maybe it was like somebody left them or whatever, but like an ingredient changed. My ex-husband, the ingredient that changed was like me removing myself from the environment. And at first that looked dicey. And my biggest fear was like he wouldn't survive it. And that almost happened. And on the other side of that, it didn't. And that's not true for everyone. Some people don't survive it. And that's their karma too. That might be our karma to witness them not survive it and learn how to deal with that. But for him, like, he did figure out how to like stand on his own 2 feet. He did figure out how to come home to himself. And he's improving that every single day. And like, I'm seeing him get better and better and better. If I had just sat there and I had kept myself in the environment, he saw the disappointment on my face every day and it made him worse. He knew that he wasn't bringing energetic reciprocity into our union anymore. And it was making him worse because he was feeling more and more and more like a failure. I saw his disappointment in himself, that like his self-loathing became so significant for a short period of time before he started to one at a time start to take care of himself. I, from the very beginning, was like, oh, I thought it was like really sweet and romantic of like, let me just take care of you and like, I'll put vitamins in you and like, I'll make sure you do the right things for yourself and I'll remind you like, hey, do this for yourself. Like, hey, why don't you sit down and try to meditate with me? And like, that really, really hurt his growth because it wasn't my place. And every time he didn't meet this expectation or this deep desire that I had that wasn't even mine to have for him, I created expectations that he never said yes to. And that was really detrimental to him and to his growth and to his journey. And I learned a lot from that for the people I love. So, well, this whole episode started with like, what is it that you're afraid of when it comes to people judging you? Remember, like, ask yourself, how familiar does this pain feel? And how long has it been around? Is it really that I'm afraid of this just because my eyes are on it and I'm noticing the sensation? I'm like, okay, right now I'm like looking at this comment on the internet and I'm feeling this like anxiety in my chest or this like kick in the gut. But are we even asking like, how long has this been here? Is that person just reminding us that there's like an old thing here that's ready for our attention? Our bodies are just trying to communicate with us all the time. Hey, this pain is here for you. Bring your attention to it and it won't get bigger. This isn't about them. This is about you. It always has been. And I love that for you. And I love that for me. Because if I'm the problem, I am the motherfucking solution every time, all the time. I love you guys. Go be legendary.
And that's a wrap on today's episode of More Live. But you already know the conversation doesn't end here. In fact, if you check the show notes, you will see that there's a link where you can essentially like leave us a voicemail. You can comment on today's episode, tell us what was your mic drop moment, and you can also ask questions. Your audio might be featured on a future More Live episode. So also, if something in today's episode really hit home with you, share it. Think about somebody who might need to hear that. And you guys already know, I love chatting with you guys in the DMs. So come over to Instagram, slide into my DMs, and tell me what hit hardest today. I want to hear from you. And if you want to keep this energy going, you already know, let's make this official. Subscribe, leave a review, and let's turn this shit into a movement because you know, the more live you feel, the more live the world becomes.